I'm gonna get all cozy. First, this is Banji.
Hi.
I'm Renee. Today we are going to be talking about hope. Really, she's going to be just speaking her story, and that her story gives others hope because I feel like it's very powerful, and I think that she's a very strong woman, and I'm very inspired by her. So today, I just can't wait to just sit here and just listen to it, and then be able to share it with all of you. So I'm excited.
Such a pleasure. Thank you. So my name's Banji Judge, and it's such an honor to be able to get to talk about hope and even just to be able to lift up God on Easter weekend. It is by far the best holiday or time of the year that we have. And so I want to teach you all something. I have a sign in my office. You can't see it, but it says Sole Deo Gloria. And one of my mentors taught me what Sole Deo Gloria meant several years ago when I needed it the most. And it basically means to God alone be the glory. And I am convinced that in this lifetime that God is so after us and so wants our hearts and our souls and our minds because he loves us so much and he knows what he can do for us and what he has done for us through Jesus. And I am convinced, though, that once he gets us, that our minds, it's not supposed to be changed for necessarily us. It's supposed to be we're changed for him. So he gets the glory. So once you've truly been changed in your heart, I feel like you have this epiphany, and hopefully you stay in it. Everybody's got to pick up their cross every day, but you have an epiphany where you feel like you do need to share with others and to give God the glory. So I just wanted to share with everyone to start out. Sole Deo Gloria, SDG. Sometimes I do the hashtag SDG, and that's what that is. So hope, it is finished. This is the weekend of Teleste, where everyone knows Easter is all about that it's finished. What Jesus did for us on the cross yesterday is simply amazing. And to be able to rise again and to know that he lives, you can feel him actually when you're in this room right now. He's alive. And there's a lot of proof to that if you're willing to open your eyes and look to that. So on specifically the theme of hope, I'm going to do a little bit of hope and a little bit of peace in this short message to you all today because I'm feeling like they go together. Anytime that you have hope, he gives you peace in the moment, peace in the present, so you can be settled enough and be still enough in him in the present to have hope for what's to come. So the hope to me is trust. Trust to me is a pillar that is essential in life. You know, when your person, the people that you have around you, trust is a big deal. Well, trusting in God. So that's where I'm going to start. It was 2009 that I became a Christian. And I was raised, knowing who God was, Jesus was. But in 2009, I had been dabbling in church and I was asked to go on a women's retreat. And I had a toddler and I had a little baby at home who I had never left alone. And it was a big deal for me to go on a women's retreat, just even for one night. And I met Jesus at that retreat, at the place in Prescott. And his overarching theme for me the entire weekend, over and over, was the word trust. I mean, he literally spoke to me where I couldn't even sleep at night, where he was like, I need you to just trust me with all of it. So with the word trust, he was basically telling me to just let go, to surrender all of the what ifs, all of the figuring out, all of the control, everything that kept me in knots and anxious and not in peace and not full of hope, just to trust. And so I did that. That's when I was changed. And so from that point, he started building a hope in me with this trust that I found. My life verse is really simple. Everybody knows what this one is. It's a very common one. It's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding, and in all of your ways acknowledge him, and he'll make your path straight. So I like to lean on my own understanding. And it's an old habit, something that he's worked on. And as Christians, like, I think that God builds us a certain way. He's made each of us a certain way. And then he starts refining the stuff he doesn't want, like pruning the rose bush to be exactly what he wants it to be. So I have to remember that. So this understanding that he's given me, I know without a doubt is a gift from God.
Absolutely.
I like getting understanding from books, but it's a fine line of listening to him of where I need to stop. So this hope, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. There's hope that comes in that. So whatever situation you're going through, it could be something as big as like COVID-19 and dealing with like anxiousness and stress of it, and just trusting that your family is going to be healthy,
right,
and that we're all going to be okay, and that God already knows what the plan is.
right.
To littler things, it could be financial things, it could be your job, it could be your kids, to really ginormous things. And so I think all of us, anytime you've lived this many years in life, you have enough experience to get the range of big to little,
right,
trust. So in my lifetime, I have definitely had to trust. I've had to trust through dealing with just big things that I had absolutely no control over.
right.
And being able to admit that I didn't have any control over it, and trusting God enough that he would come in. And I just had hope and a peace in the moment that he was going to take over. And he did. So I think my real message that I would like to give people is that they need the relationship with God. The best thing, and we read this in one of our devotions this morning, is not just religion, like showing up to church, like getting into quiet moments where you can actually figure out what your relationship looks like with God. Where you open your soul with God, and where you get to hear him, however you hear him. And I hear people say all the time, I don't hear him. Like, I don't know if he's there. It's just silent.
So much, so many stories.
So many. So, nobody's hearing this weird audible sound from God, but you will know. You will, when you get raw and real and vulnerable with God, and then you're quiet enough and childlike enough to open your heart and listen to him, he will keep reassuring you.
Yes.
So I'll get a little raw and vulnerable for a moment. There were many nights that I can reflect on where I was lacking hope. And very just desperate. I would go to God, and I was just so broken. And I can remember in those moments of brokenness, here's the beauty, like, oh, catch this. When you are at your most broken, when you are going through a circumstance that you just can't figure out where the light's going to come from or where the hope's going to come from, that is when God picks up the power, when you make the choice to turn to him. One of my favorite verses is full surrender. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. He says, Paul is desperately pleading with him to take the thorn out of his side. Pleading. And he says, my power is in your weakness. My strength is when you're at your weakest point and you turn to me. So, but those are the moments that we actually need to learn to be thankful for. James says that in James 1:2. He says, in all circumstances, even in the worst circumstances that you have, give thanks, be full of gratitude, because you're making us be more endurant. You're making me be able to run the long race, to do this life, and to be mature in every situation. I want to be mature in every single situation because I'm that good to God.
Yes.
So hope, this is one thing that I need to address. Anytime somebody preaches on hope or peace, know that I'm not a Pollyanna. So what do I mean by that? I have moments, just like anybody that's watching this video, where you want to sit in a little bit of your pity party, where you're feeling desperate, and you're feeling like, and you want to tell somebody,
and you want everybody else to feel sorry for you.
You want everybody to do that. And so you can sit there for a moment.
Not for you, but with you.
With you. You can sit and feel it, because just like any good father, the father wants to listen to your perspective. But here's where it's key when he talks about be careful who you're surrounding yourself with. You always want the word with you. You want to have that relationship with God, or you want other fellow believers that are going to build you up or turn you to him. Because if you stay in that, if you stay in the place where you're all about your feels and your emotions and you're lacking hope, or you're full of despair and you don't know what's going to happen, it's like quicksand. I always picture quicksand. You will literally just keep falling into a pit that doesn't have any roots to grab onto to get yourself out of the pit. Don't stay there. Have people, have the word, have the relationship with God. So I don't want anybody to think like, oh, well, Banji is just so full of hope and peace every minute of her day. Isn't that just so nice?
And she turned Southern. She turned Southern too, which is amazing.
It's amazing. Because that's just simply not true. Like, if you're a human being, you are going to go through times where you're like, holy goodness, Lord. But that's where you do need God, and he will rescue you. And, this weekend, Easter. So Good Friday, we call it Good Friday now. So many people were just wrecked. Or even when we think about the crucifixion, it makes you cry every single time what Christ endured for all of us and our sins.
Right.
But the amazing thing, it's like that video, it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. The amazing thing is he literally is alive. Like, Sunday's coming. That's the hope, is God ultimately is the victor. Satan thought that he won on Friday. He thought that all of it was for naught. And if Jesus would have just stayed there dead, okay, maybe he would have been right. But even he conquered the grave. And he wants all of us to die to ourselves and literally live lives for him. And every single day you have to pick up that cross. That's the reason why we'll go into that quicksand for a little bit and, maybe feel our feels, but then you lift out of it in him, however he's going to have you do it. And that's where the hope comes from. And the peace that transcends all understanding is literally found in him, in that hope. He gives you peace for the day. Renee and I did a devotional earlier today, and it talked all about just living in the present. And that's been one of the biggest gifts that I've been given, to have a peace and a hope, is what's in today. And then to just switch your mind to be like a treasure hunter. No matter what's going on around you, instead of focusing on the negatives, try to find all the treasures in today that God has given. And even if you find yourself fixated, my mind sometimes, because I'm this understanding thing, I sometimes fixate on the issue because I want to try to figure it out, and I want to fix it, and I want to solve it. And God will gently remind me, take your mind away from that. And, oh, look at this beautiful cardinal that's sitting outside your door while you're trying to fix this thing that you have no power over. There's beauty all around us, and there's hope in that. So hope and peace in your present. Do what you can do and realize what that is. And most things we can't do anything about. Really, the only thing that you have power over is yourself and your own mind, and how you're going to surrender it to God and then do his will.
Amen. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for listening. I love doing this.
I love it. I love listening. I love listening. Well, just to Banji in general, a child. But thank you so much. I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful that God has given you the discernment. Everything that you carry and is just so mature. She's so mature.
Oh, I know.
But we just want to thank you so much for coming along with us and listening today. And we hope this inspires you. We hope this gives you hope. We hope it gives you hope. And we are hoping you have a blessed day and everybody in your family is safe. And we love you.
Love. Thank you.
I love you.